Hello, everyone. This is Candice Richardson Dickens coming from you live from Baltimore, Maryland. And I say that because of the fact that Baltimore has had a tremendous impact. Recently the Key Bridge went down. And for a lot of people, it stirred up all those feelings of uneasiness. For me myself, I don't really watch the news in the morning. My relationship with the news changed around COVID. I remember during COVID, every day I would watch the news and I'd be glued to it, trying to figure out the science, what was happening, the mortality rate, the infection rate, trying to figure out, when the shot was going to come out, when the who was creating the shots, the immunizations. I was glued to it, and not just watching American TV, watching everything. Just wanted to know different information. So yesterday I get a call. I'm walking my dog, and I get a call from my mom. Who the first question is, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I'm okay. What's going on?" And then she tells me that the bridge would collapse because a boat hit the bridge. And my first thought was, "Oh my goodness." And for many of you, there's a physical reaction when you hear about tragedy. It's the was a right? Because the body has responded like a fight response, right? An automatic nervous system response that something is happening, is taking your breath away. It's causing you to have a physical movement of comfort, of disbelief, right? Or just the heaviness of it. And as I was walking my dog and I stopped and I found myself making the autonomic nervous system response of, "Oh my goodness," the physical movement, like, "Oh my goodness, I cannot believe it," the disbelief. My mind went to, wow, can remember feeling the same way during 9/11, being outside, hearing on the news, wow, something has happened. And then calling a relative, finding out what's going on because everyone seems to be upset. Something's happening in New York. Not realizing that what had happened was a major event that impacted everyone, a macro trauma that affected everyone, whether you were in DC, in the Pentagon, or you were in New York City. So here we are. I'm walking the dog and I'm having a body reaction because when we have trauma response, trauma is like an echo. It starts here and it goes all the way here. And you can be here and hear it, but it started all the way back here. So when she said the Key Bridge, I was like, oh my goodness. It flashed me back to 9/11, that something had happened that wasn't expected, right? Because something that's traumatic is something that's happened without your control, without your permission, that you didn't ask for and didn't deserve. Something happened to you, right? Whether it happened directly to you or indirectly to you. Something happened to you and with you that caused you to have a response of disbelief, shock, derealization, like, oh my goodness, right? And a feeling of vulnerability, like, oh my God. And then what happens, a little bit of reality settles in, like, oh my God. And the thought is, oh my God, those people. And then the grief kicks in. There's a sadness, a loss, a confusion of how could this happen? This was a bridge that I had crossed. This is a bridge that my daughter worked near. This is a bridge where people went every day. Millions of people got transported over this bridge to work and to home. Just the disbelief and the questions become. Because when we're in shock, we look for answers to take us out of the shock because the shock is about the unknown. It's about not knowing what has happened and why it's happened. So we look for the answers: who, what, where, and why. Who did this? What happened? When did this happen? All the W's, right? Why did this happen? And who is to blame? Because shock and disbelief wants the answers. Because the answers give us security. If I know the answers to the questions, I feel better. But that's not how it is, right? We think if I know the answer to a math problem, I get an A. If I know the answer to a science problem, there's a cure for AIDS. There's a cure for COVID. But if I know the answer to who did this, the feeling of sadness and disbelief don't go away. I just have a name to the person. I just have a time. Like, what time did it happen? I've got a time of when it happened, 1:30. But having those answers brings on more questions. And that's when we realize when we're being triggered. And for many people who want to know all those questions, getting more answers brought in more questions because we wanted to know more. It's like that insatiable feeling. Like there are people who eat and they don't know when they're full. They don't know when they have enough. So they keep eating. Or they shop and they don't realize when they have enough clothes, so they shop more. Or they give and they don't have a relationship between have they given enough? They just give out of habit. But that's how we are when we're activated, right? The fight flight response comes on, we get activated, immobilized, the adrenaline goes up, and we're moving out of action, out of habit, out of a habit of moving and asking questions and not noticing what that habit of moving, because asking questions, then thinking and worrying is a behavior. Not realizing how that over worrying, overthinking, right, over feeling brings us to a behavior that might be similar to our behaviors when COVID happened. The shock and disbelief. What is that? What is this thing called COVID? Is that COVID or Corona, like the drink? What is it? The shock and disbelief that, oh my God, people are dying. Went from one person to millions of people. People getting sick to people dying. It went from one plane crashing into the Twin Towers to something happening in the Pentagon. So there's an echo effect. And sometimes the echo effect doesn't begin with 9/11, it begins in childhood, where something happened to you or someone you know that you didn't ask for or they didn't ask for, where you felt vulnerable, powerless. And then if you watch on TV, all these images are coming up of people talking about the trauma, talking about where they were at, grieving. You connect with them on TV. So we get overexposed and the brain doesn't get permission to shut down. And for those of you who are glued to the TV, your brain is going past and present. What's happening in the present is that there have been 6 people who have been pronounced dead, and my heart goes out to those families. But then it brings you to the past, to other times where you felt vulnerable, violated, and things were happening to you or happening to people that you love. It brings you back to truth. So we call it the echo effect because it goes all the way back to the earliest trauma and echoes all the way back here. And we get stuck because it's like not wanting to see something but can't turn away from it. And we'll say, well, there's a part of you that doesn't want to turn away because it's afraid that you're going to miss something or not know something. But the more you know, the better you don't feel better. You just know more. You become more educated about what happened. But it doesn't make you feel safer. It's not like 1 + 1 = 2. And now you got the answer. And now you can move on to the next module or the next quiz. It doesn't make you feel safe. It just gives you a whole lot of more stuff. So I want to talk to those people who are activated, who have loved ones inside of Maryland, or who people live in Maryland. One of the things I want you to do with me is to take a breath. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out really slow. Because when we get activated, right, it activates our polyvagal nerve. The polyvagal nerve is the 10th cranial nerve, goes through the face, the throat goes wandering nose, nerve goes all throughout the body. And it's heavily collected in the lungs. So when we get tense, adrenaline gets released, the heart beats faster, the lungs constrict, and all those nerves are underneath there, and they're also in the abdomen, in the intestines. This is why we get upset stomach. But what I want to say to you is that taking the breath in, whether you take it in by 3 breaths or just one big breath, breathing out slow helps calm those nerves. So let's take a breath in together. Big breath in and breathing out slow. Now, if you finish before me, just want to give you a cheek gift. When you breathe in, do the chipmunk cheeks. And I want you to breathe out real slow, like blowing air through a balloon until it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. We've all seen a balloon that you deflate real slow. Sometimes it makes that noise at the end. So I want you to breathe with me. Breathe in and breathe out. Lowering your shoulders with the last breath. And just sitting in that, softening your face, and that means sleepy face. Relaxing the jawline, allowing the tongue to be at the bottom of the mouth, giving yourself permission just to be at rest. Allow the stomach to be calm, letting it sit on your lap as if there's a small child snuggling up against the body. Notice where the body connects with the chair or the floor. Taking another breath in, breathing up and straightening up the spine, and blowing it out slow. Noticing your feet on the floor and noticing any sounds around you. Having dual awareness of feet on the floor, spine straight, chair in the seat or on the floor. And listening for any sounds that are in your environment that indicate that you're safe. And if there aren't any sounds, see if you can look around and see if there are any cues in your environment that let you know that you're safe. And in this moment, you're not at the bridge. And if you are at the bridge, just notice, look around for any cues that you are safe, that the bridge is not moving. And there might be a rescue crew around you that are helping in this movement of trying to recover people and trying to ensure that the community is safe. Just want to regulate your nervous system just a little bit. And going back to the feet, just notice how your feet feel either in your socks, your shoes, or if you're barefooted, your feet on the ground. Notice the floor is soft or hard, cold or warm. And now just be aware of what it's like to have your feet on the ground, firmly on the ground, knowing that whenever you want, you can move them. And with that new awareness, just take a breath in and a slow breath out. And just breathe in and out slowly, in and out. And I just want to say to everyone that trauma lives in the body. It's in your history. And for those of you who are aware that you've been re-triggered, it's good to do this breathing technique. And maybe even when you're ready, maybe give yourself some hugs, grounding yourself, either from side to side. The body doesn't care who's hugging you. It just wants to know it's safe. And maybe add some butterflies, some bilaterals in it, whether you want to do tapping or just some rubs. And making sure you're breathing and reminding yourself where you're at. And that in this moment, you're as safe as you can be. And in this moment, hear your breath as you breathe. My body's automatically doing a soft sway back and forth. And recognizing that difficulty sleeping, problems with eating, feeling numb, feeling in shock, noticing that the brain is scattered, can't concentrate, all signs that you've been re-triggered. That this is either vicarious trauma or direct trauma for you. And when there's trauma, the body has to know that I'm safe. I'm just rocking back and forth now. It has to know that I'm putting my right hand under my left armpit, right? Because the heart is more to the right, or more to the left. So I'm just regulating the body. Do some polyvagal exercises to let the body know to calm down. Letting my polyvagal nerve know I'm safe. letting my autonomic nervous system to know you can turn off the fight flight. Things aren't perfect, but I'm safe. How do I know? Look around the room. Move slowly, move your eyes or your head, and look at there any cues of safety. I see my couch. I see the massage bed I do Reiki on. What do you smell in your environment? I smell vanilla. And I see all of you. What do I feel in my body? A sense of calmness, an excitement that I'm not alone, that there are other people who notice what I noticed. And since we have trauma, we realize the body is excitable. So sometimes what the body needs is to turn off the TV, decrease how much you watch it because you're super sensitive. Because watching it takes you past and present. But I don't want to miss anything. You won't. I haven't seen TV, but my clients have told me. I think I saw maybe 20 minutes of it, then I turned it off when I saw the mayor speak. But I have all I need. It's enough what I have. If there's something that you want to do to help, the Red Cross is always taking donations. FEMA is always taking donations. If you need if you need some support, consider calling 988. If you live in Maryland, Gilchrist and Roberta's House specialize in trauma treatment, and usually their services are free. But 988 can give you an access to other agencies that provide trauma care. Same thing with pro bono counseling in Maryland, which is free counseling, or it's reduced at a huge cost. And you can see most clinicians in the United States do pro bono Maryland. Yeah. I just wanted to leave you with that. Take great care of yourself. And if you have family members in Maryland, encourage them to take great care of themselves. Share this video, like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. I'll be featuring other videos that will help regulate systems, especially during this difficult time. I'm doing a body hold. But taking your last breath with me, breathing in and breathing out slow through your nose or through the mouth, whichever you prefer. When this video ends, I want you to sit there for a second and take some breaths afterwards. About 5 breaths. And just do a body check with your body. And consider some of the resources I mentioned. Pro Bono of Maryland Counseling Services, free counseling, calling 988 hotline to speak to someone if you're anxious or needing a referral. Black Mental Health Alliance is another resource to consider because they will also pair you up with a clinician. Contacting Gilchrist Gilchrist Services. They have great counseling groups that are usually either free or they're really inexpensive. And Roberta's House, which is a wonderful place that offers free counseling for people who have family members who died unexpectedly. I hope this was helpful for you. From my heart, I'm doing a heart hug, a heart rub to your heart. I'm sending you love and kindness and support. Thanks for watching. Please share this with someone who needs it. It may save a life or change a life. Bye, everyone.